Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys for another show, for another episode of our Raw Reactions preview series. I'm joined by a few guests to look ahead to the next Arsenal match, which is, of course, what is supposed to be a fairly comfortable walk in the park tomorrow against Olympiacos. We will see if that is indeed the case in the next 20 minutes or so. I am joined by three of my expert members this week to discuss the Olympiacos game. And first of all, Kian, mate, how you doing? Are you well, son? You good?
Yeah, all good. Thank you. First of all, I just want to say Happy Patrick's Day to everyone. Being
Of course.
Irish, have to throw that one in there. So look forward to today and tomorrow night.
Good stuff. Dan, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, and just still kind of doing well from the North London derby.
Yeah, exactly. Still riding on that high of the weekend. And finally, Pablo, how you doing, mate? You well?
Yeah, all good, Tom. Thank you. Yeah, very much like Dan, on buzzing still. So happy with the result of the weekend.
Yeah, if you beat Spurs, it's just going to basically fill you for the rest of the week, basically. So we appreciate the lads putting in a performance like that. And speaking of which, we're hoping that they can put in maybe not an equal display, but just I'm happy for them to just do enough tomorrow night. Pablo, Olympiacos, obviously a side that we have history with. Not at this stage last year, in the prior stage, in the last 32, they managed to knock us out. If we get through this game pretty comfortably, how confident are you about a Europa League run through the next three rounds?
To be honest with you, I'm really confident. You can see the development that Arteta's sort of bringing into the team. I know at the start of the season there was a load of issues and our results just wasn't good enough. But off late, if you actually look at the way we play, even the games that we lose, like you look at Wolves, Burnley, they were mainly down to poor refereeing decisions. I think the only sort of game that I was actually disappointed with us was probably City, because I didn't feel like we really fought for it, and the Villa game. Yeah. So apart from them two games, we've pretty much given everybody a run for their money, and if not, we've actually walked away with a win. So I'm pretty confident of playing, even if we do get United or Tottenham, of course, then I'm pretty confident we'll get far in it.
It's good to hear confidence always. Obviously, on the show, we do look at things in a more positive way, I suppose. And the Europa League is obviously kind of an all or nothing situation for us, really, because with how the league's gone, getting anything from this competition would, of course, be our ultimate target, which is getting qualification for the Champions League. And you look at teams like United, who probably aren't going to necessarily need it, and they have cup kind of commitments as well. Spurs might end up needing it, of course, and they will desperately want to win it to get qualification themselves for the Champions League. But Kian, and I know I'm speaking very confidently, like looking ahead beyond maybe this game, but are there more sides than just the English teams that scare you going through the rest of the tournament?
Well, yeah, definitely Milan are one team you have to look at. And again, Ajax as well. Ajax are 3-0 up in their first leg. And Gerrard's playing, or he has Rangers playing very well as well. So there's three other teams that we really have to look out for.
Emery's Villarreal as well.
You saw what he did with us. I'm not worried.
That's the last words there.
Yeah, I'm not that worried. To be honest with you, I'm looking forward to. I want us to get him. I want to play Unai Emery. Show him what we can actually do with Arteta, and prove Arteta's doubters wrong as well. Because a lot of people do want Emery back as well. There is some fans calling for him back. So I would like to see us put up against Villarreal. But then again, it's our own mistakes that could lose it for us against them. I see Vinny there saying, Cian, it's the worst thing to say. I know, but I'd like him. I want the chance. And with the likes of Milan and United, one big team is going out. So that's a big step forward as well. So yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm looking forward. Hopefully we get a big win tomorrow night. Let's beat them early and then move on to West Ham on Sunday.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And if we can obviously get a result, Dan, I'm interested about kind of the actual game in itself, in the sense of it's a weird dynamic. You're going into a game knowing you can lose and still go through, which is a famous line I remember from the '89 documentary. Of course, Liverpool going into that game knowing that they could lose the game and still win the title, but because it sets you kind of up in a weird mentality. And we know how mentally fragile Arsenal can be at times. Do you think there is any kind of danger of there being a little bit of overconfidence, a feeling of the tie is already done? Or do you think that Arteta will set this team up knowing exactly what they need to do?
I really hope not. I mean, I think Arteta's going to go into the game telling everyone, look, we need to win this game. I know we could lose, was it 2-0, still get through. I can't imagine Arteta saying, right, let's kind of park the bus, and if we concede a goal, then so what? I'm confident that Arteta's really told them, look, we're going to play just like we did against probably Olympiacos in the first leg, and try and win the game, because I think that's the only way we can go across this. I wouldn't want to risk anything. We just need to win, because we've seen it before last season, and we bottle it sometimes. I have to admit we do, and we are also our own worst enemy, which is also not the best in this situation. But yeah, we need to go and win the game. That's all.
Yeah, it's as simple as that, I suppose. You're just going out to try and win. And you want to keep the momentum up as well, and seeing ourselves kind of put a run of wins together, especially in the league table. We've got some difficult games against West Ham and Liverpool in the league in the next few weeks or so. So if you can keep that winning run going after obviously beating Spurs and getting that kind of confidence boost. Before we go into what you guys are suspecting in regards to the lineup, let's see what some of the guys in the chat box are saying. Ans says, we can beat anyone on our day. Arteta sets us up so well that even when we don't play well, we still have a chance. Daryl says, I think Aubameyang should start this game. He'll have a point to prove, and I know he'll react in the correct ways. Obviously, what of course happened before the Spurs game. James P says, definitely think Olympiacos will put up a fight, but I don't think it will be enough to get them through. And Temi says, I want Man United to lose, and I have a feeling that Spurs are going to go. I mean, if Spurs manage to drop a 2-0 lead at home, I'd be very surprised, Timmy. But, fingers crossed that we can see that happen. Now, we do have to look at some of the lineups. This is where I have to crouch down, because my new overlay means that I've got to sit down here to actually be on the screen. But Dan, we're starting with yours. Do you want to talk us through your selection, mate?
Well, I actually have a weird feeling that Matt Ryan could start, but I think we don't want to take any risks. And he's good, Ryan, but I think Leno just keeps his place. Surprised I haven't started Cedric, but I think Cedric's our first right back. Keep him for West Ham. And I like Chambers as a number 2. Yeah, our number 2 right back. He did really well in the last game he played. Was it Burnley?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll keep Chambers there. Holding, I feel Holding's... He's not played much recently. I kind of feel bad for him. He was doing so well. I know he had his concussion, but he's not really played much. And I think he needs to get back into things, because in all fairness, David Luiz has also done quite well. But I don't know, something about Holding, I prefer him to Luiz in the long run. Gabriel, I think, has been incredible in the last 2 games. Keep him there. I just really like that signing, to be honest. He could be... Him and Tierney on that kind of left side of the defence could be here for the next 7 years or something. Probably not, but I really hope that. And then midfield, I'm kind of giving Xhaka a bit of a rest. It probably won't happen. I think Xhaka will play. But I think Elneny, after that goal, I'd give him a chance there with Partey. And Partey, he needs game time, because I think against Spurs, I actually think he was phenomenal in the first half. I think he was really good for the kind of the start of the second half. And then from about 65, 70, just completely dropped off. That could be something to do with match fitness or something, but I'd keep him playing, and maybe just, if we've already done a job, if we're 1-0 up at half time, take him off. Because, I think he should start. Odegaard, I'm really liking this guy. I also like Smith Rowe as well, but something about Odegaard, just his pressing, and I'd really like him. I'd start him. yeah, you could start Smith Rowe on the left. I think I'd give him a bit of a rest. Maybe he can come on if we need him. Willian, he got rested, I guess, and he's been quite good recently, playing quite well. So I'm happy with him there. Pepe, I think with Saka, I've just heard Arteta, and I think Saka's not too bad actually. He'll probably get. I think he said he might be available tomorrow, but we'll see how he is today. But I wouldn't risk him, even if there's a slight chance of him picking up his hamstring again.
Yeah.
So I'll keep Pepe there, and yeah, Lacazette. I think he played really well, and yeah, no Alba. I'm keeping Alba for the West Ham game. I think Laka played really well. I don't think it's a big deal whether it's Laka or Alba. I think they both play well up there, and I just like Laka at the moment for this game.
Fair enough. We'll get through some of the questions after we've gone through everyone else's 11s. But Pablo, do you want to talk us through your team?
Yeah, sure. I've obviously gone with Leno. I think he ain't going to take the chance of not playing Leno in goal. We've got to win this. And obviously I've got the back four there. I've gone with Chambers, Holding and Murray. I think Holding and Murray are probably the best two partnership for themselves sort of thing. So I think Holding plays better when Murray's there than compared to Gabriel or Louise. Tini on the left back, I'll be honest with you, if I had the option, I would have not picked Tini, but I can't think of anybody else there. We've got obviously Partey and Ceballos. Now, I've gone quite attacking and with a lot of pace, and that's because I think they're going to have to come and attack us. They're the ones that need the goals. So I've gone with Martinelli. I don't think he'll start. I think William will start there, but I personally would like to see him there. Smith Rowe's been rested and he looked really sharp against Tottenham. I think he can come in for Odegaard and give Odegaard a bit of a rest. Pepe, I think Pepe has been brilliant this season, most of this season anyway, especially the second half. And like we said earlier, Alba's got a point to prove. And with a counter-attacking option here, Alba's probably a better choice than Lacazette, in my opinion. And I've gone with Ceballos as well because him and Partey, I'm really interested to see what them two are going to play like, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Let's go for Keane's then.
Yeah, I agree with what Dan said. Chambers is a very good second choice right back to Bellerin. In goal, Leno, definitely. We have to make sure that they don't score tomorrow. So he's definitely a big one for me. Gabriel, he's in form. We don't want to lose it. The last time he had a break due to COVID, he came straight in and was very nervous, and I don't want that to happen again. He's a player that plays on form. So let's keep him playing and get his form going. Holding hasn't played in a while. I want to see him have a few minutes. David Luiz and Xhaka, they're both off my team. They haven't had mistakes in a while, and tomorrow night I don't want any mistakes. Tierney speaks for himself. He's the captain without the armband. He has to be playing for me. Bellerin, I have a feeling that what Arteta is doing is very like what Emery did with goalkeepers, what a lot of teams do with goalkeepers, and that is saying Bellerin plays in the Europa League, Cedric plays in the Premier League, which is why Bellerin is in there for me today. Ceballos and Partey. Ceballos and I just want them to attack. Let's get a few goals under our belt. Ceballos is a workhorse lately in the midfield. So I know he has his odd mistakes, but he's well able to pick a pass, and he plays very well with Odegaard. Odegaard, the way I hate to bring up the O word, but he is the Ozil with work rate. And
oh God, here we go.
he is. I have to say, like watching him against Spurs, he just ran at players, and we've been looking for that in a midfielder, especially an attacking midfielder. Pepe, he is playing very well, and I do want him to play tomorrow because let's start getting goals. It's the only thing he's missing at the moment. I know he scored against Leicester, but that was a tap in. We want to see what Pepe can do and whip it in from his left, and that's why I have Martinelli in there. He needs to start playing. I don't think he will play or start, but I think he definitely deserves at least 20 minutes under his belt. And tomorrow is the game to do it. definitely score a few goals first, and then if Arteta wants to bring him on. But for me, he's starting. And Oba, because he didn't play against Spurs, he's a point to prove, especially against Olympiacos, missing last season. So that's why Oba is there to prove it to Olympiacos and prove it to Arteta after the weekend.
Fair enough. My 11 actually answers the question that Pablo was saying earlier about who do you rest Tierney for, and that's why I've gone for Cedric on the left-hand side to rest Tierney for this week and give him kind of just a week off. If he does play, it wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. He does have really, really good work rate. It's just that danger of kind of burning him out. So Chambers and Cedric at fullback with Marie and Louise at the back, swapping in Marie for Gabriel for this week. But I really think that Louise at the moment has been our most consistent centre-back over the last few weeks. Has been really, really excellent. And the distribution that he provides us from the back is also quite priceless. I've actually given Partey a rest. I get the argument of both sides that you need to give him minutes to get him up to match sharpness, but I feel like in some of these games, I feel like in the game against Spurs, the last 15 minutes, as Clive talked about in yesterday's show, was a lot down to fatigue and him being really tired. And I'm thinking maybe if we wanted to come in against West Ham, I mean, give him the last 20 minutes, come off the bench and have some minutes at the end of the game, maybe. But I'm not sure I'd be starting Partey right from the beginning. Xhaka plays again. He just seems to play every single game, and that's fine at the moment because he's doing well. Bar the mistake against Burnley, I think he's been really, really good. El Neni, I chose over Ceballos just as kind of that little bit of defensive guarantee because obviously Olympiacos need to score goals, and I feel like with El Neni and Xhaka together, I know it might not give you the most progressive amount of passing, but I think it will give you that more sort of defensive solidity and then allow the fullbacks and the front four to do more of the creative attacking stuff. Speaking of which, Emile Smith-Rowe gives Erdegaard a rest for me at number 10. Martinelli starts on the left-hand side. I was really tempted to kind of play him at striker, but I feel like this could be a chance for Aubameyang to come back in and maybe redeem himself and get him up to speed ahead of course, a really important Premier League game at the weekend too. Giving him maybe 2 weeks off would just lull him a bit, and I'm not sure I want to do that. So I've gone with Aubameyang and Pepe, of course. I thought, arguably, of the two halves him and Saka played, I actually thought he was better than Saka in the North London derby, to be honest. I thought he came on and did a really good job. The pass for Lacazette to win the penalty was brilliant, and he really took on Reguilon really well. He's a really good left-back too on that side. So I'd like to see him given another opportunity to start. So there's all four of our lineups. Of course, we're getting closer towards the part of the show where we do predictions. I'm just going to do one round of questions before we get to that point. But chat box, if you do have a prediction for the game, this is your prediction for scoreline, scorers, and overall explanation for how you think the game is going to play, then throw them into the chat box. We're going to go in reverse order this time, starting off with Kian. Talk to me, Kian, about what you think would be kind of what's the worst case scenario for you tomorrow, besides saying just us losing? But what do you think tactically, and where do you think Olympiacos are going to look to be trying to get at Arsenal tomorrow to create the most problems?
To be honest,
I didn't hear any of that because you muted, unmuted like crazy.
It wouldn't let me unmute. It wouldn't let me mute. Sorry. What was it you said? Sorry, it wouldn't let me hear anything.
I said, where do you think it is tomorrow? Worst case scenario is obviously Olympiacos come at us quite a bit. Where do you think tactically they're going to be looking to find our vulnerabilities at the moment?
To be honest, I'd just attack us. Literally doing the opposite of what Spurs did, run at us. Because as we showed the last few games, we're our own downfall. We tried passing around the back, and then we'd pass it to like Xhaka now, who'd give it to another player, or it's hard to explain because we actually don't even know what we're going to do wrong. We'll get a few red cards. I'd say try getting into their heads because we do have a lot of hot-headed players. So we could get an odd red card here and there. If I was Arteta, I'd tell them just to calm down, just play the football they want to play, because it's hard to think that all the goals that came against us the last few seasons or last few games, we've been our own downfall. It hasn't been other players piecing out a goal. It's been Arsenal giving them a goal. So it's hard to say.
Pablo, I'm going to throw you a question from Vinny in the chat who says, do you think it's the right approach to start a weaker team and then bring on players if needed to win the game first, and then we can try and rest more if possible?
To be honest with you, the way Arteta does it and has done it recently is the right way, where you've got to have that balance where you're not weakening the team that you're going to go into the game thinking, we can lose, but not by that much. Do you see what I mean? It's been kind of every single European game or even cup games, domestic cup games, whatever it is, he's kind of gone with a healthy balance of resting players, but still trying to keep the squad as strong as possible for that week. I think the way that Arteta does it is the right way. Is keeping the squad strong, because we do have a strong squad. You look across the board, we're looking a lot stronger now than what we did, I'd say, at the beginning of the season. Just go with the strongest possible team you got without affecting anybody's fitness or causing them any injuries.
Dan, to finish off things, going back to your lineup previously, you didn't start Martinelli in your team, which of course is something that a lot of people kind of want to see today or tomorrow. Sorry, and what do you make of the Martinelli situation? One, why haven't you put him in from the start? Is that down to kind of just selection? Is it that giving Willian the opportunity because he's earned it more than Martinelli? And how do you view the whole situation with Gavi?
I think if I was manager, thing is, I do want Martinelli to play. I want him to be the best. He's got such a high ceiling when I watch him. I really want him to play. I just don't think he will. And I've been seeing a lot on Twitter that he's being molded into a striker. I don't know if that's true. And those videos of him with him taking a lot of shots, a nice sort of overhead kick kind of thing. Is that molding into a striker? Is that individual training just to be that player? Because I think Arteta probably looks at it next season. He's probably thinking we're going to be without Nketiah, without Lacazette maybe. And with Aubameyang there, we don't have anyone else. So maybe he wants Martinelli to be that striker. And the question is, do we need Martinelli right now? Like, are other options not good enough? We've got so many there. We've got Saka, we've got Willian, we've got Smith Rowe who plays there now. The option, we've got so many. We don't actually need Martinelli. So maybe Arteta's thought, if we can get the best out of him next season, do what we can to make him that good for next season by doing this individual training. Maybe that's the way to go. However, surely you need some game time. So even under 23s, surely you need something.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think Keane's had enough of you talking about Cedric going up there. We're going to get your thoughts in the chat box before we get the guys' predictions. Let me just scroll up to try and find the first one. So we go. Temi says 2-0 to Arsenal. Jared says 2-0 Arsenal. Zamir says 7-0. And Nelly screamers, every single one of them. Ed Welch says 1-0 Arsenal and says Aubameyang's going to get a hat-trick. Janice says, people working to get Pablo the latest team news in the background, it seems. I think there must be people flying about behind you, Pablo. Yo-Yo says 1-1 draw with Olympiacos scoring first, which would take us through. Colin says we're going to go for a very kind of interesting 2-2 draw. Eventually, we would go 5-3 on aggregate. MIL says 2-1 Arsenal because we can't keep a clean sheet at the moment. James P says, personally, I see it being a low-scoring match. Arsenal will get to manage this game, or to manage this game. We might look for the insurance goal. He's going to go with a 2-1 to the team. Evan says, the problem with Martinelli, Alba and Pepe as a front three is a lack of hold-up play, which means we won't be able to recycle the ball as effectively. Lewis says, an edgy 1-0 defeat. Profligacy. What is profligacy? I mean, I'm the wordsmith, and I'm using the... Anyone? But I want to help me out with that. Profligacy. I've never heard this word before, Lewis. You're educating me, son. Profligacy again, and then daftly concede. I imagine 30 mins like the end of the North London derby, but we'll go through. Though I'm just hopelessly pessimistic. Lots of high-level vocab there from Lewis that even stunned me at one point. Omar says, we should be able to cruise the last 8 with all due respect. This tie is done. All the confidence in the world there. And Thibaut said that profligacy means wastefulness. So there you go. I'm going to use that in an article today. I'm actually going to try, so I'm going to fit it into one now. Oh, dearie me. I'm going to go for I think we'll win. I weirdly think, because as Kian said, the way that Olympiacos is going to score is they have to attack us. I think that's going to leave a lot of open spaces for us to kind of hit them on the counter if we need to. We just need to be smart. We don't need to do anything silly. Just play the game conservatively and then hit them on the break when possible. I think we'll probably come out 2-0 winners and going through 5-1 on aggregate, which would be lovely. Kian, speaking of which, what's your prediction for the show, mate, besides a Bellerin hat-trick, of course?
No, I think it'll be 3-0. I'm going to go, if Martinelli plays, he's going to score. Odegaard's going to score another smash goal from outside the box. And I'm going to fancy Oba. I think Oba is going to score and prove everyone, all the Olympiacos and Arteta, prove to him that he wants to be here.
Fair enough. Dan?
I'm going for 2-0. I think Olympiacos will need to come out and try and win this game, try and score straight away, which will leave gaps open. I think this could be kind of the game for the counter-attack at the beginning, in which case I think it could be Pepe's day. I'm going Pepe with both of them.
And Pablo.
4-1 Arsenal. Yep, so we're going to do it. We're going to turn up.
Like that.
No, well, the thing is, they got to come at us. And I'm not being funny, but from what I've seen of them last week, they're not going to be able to keep hold of us for too long. They were lucky the score was what it was last time round, in my opinion. So, yeah, I'm pretty confident at home we'll do right.
Fair enough. So lots of positivity from the guys, which is obviously great. A massive thank you to you guys at the chat box, of course, for tuning in. If you could drop a like on today's video, we would really appreciate that. And obviously, if you could thank my fantastic panel. First of all, Dan, ever so much a pleasure as always, mate. Appreciate your time.
Cheers. Thanks for having me. Always great to be on, and hopefully we'll get the win and go through to the next round.
100%. You can find Dan at 123R, Dan R, sorry, on Twitter, and you can find him mostly though in our Discord server, which if you're an expert member or higher, you can join, as JD has, and now I believe Simon has too. We've got a couple of new members in yesterday. Good to see some new people join the group. Kian, always a pleasure, mate. Tell people they can find you.
Same again, in Twitter down below. Guys, again, happy St. Patrick's Day. Hope you all have a great day. Get your Guinness out. Get your Jameson whiskey. But yeah, no, thanks again. It's been great to be on, and talk to you all soon.
Wayne will be certainly on the Guinness tonight. He was showing me this machine he's got, which basically you put the pint of Guinness on this machine. It's in water, and then it makes it froth up like it does.
Yeah, electrolytes or something.
Something really. You were showing me the other day, but it looked very impressive. So he'll be using that, I'm sure, till it burns out, I probably believe. And Pablo, massive thank you to you, mate, as always.
Oh, thank you for having us. Hey?
Clean your top.
But yeah, no, thanks for having us. And I'm going to have a whiskey for Kian today, mate, and celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, if only I wasn't working till 11 tonight, and I'd actually be able to do it. So, yeah. Oh well. You win some, you lose some. We'll have one after the game on Thursday. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to all of you this evening. I can see a lot of you throwing Cedric squads into the chat box, which is fantastic. He's our new mascot, our new emoji in the chat. So, members, you can use that at your free will now, alongside some other good ones available to you if you do want to come and support the channel. We'll be back straight after the game tomorrow. I'll be joining you, of course, for the watch along as well. But if you've enjoyed the preview, and if you've left also your comment about your explanation about how you think the game might go after doing that, hit the subscription button, and we'll see you again very, very soon. And as always, up the Arsenal.